Reddit stories from r/AskReddit. Rich people of Reddit that were poor before, how did money solve your problems and what new problems have appeared? Went through childhood in the foster system and fell through the cracks, ended up homeless a few times. Anyways, I am not a 1%er, but I do make more than 80% of Americans yearly salary-wise. Money relieved me of stress. When I go shopping I don't check my bank account before I make a purchase. I have insurance so I am not afraid to go to the dentist or doctor. Going out with friends is fun because I know I won't be financially struggling from a night out. It ultimately bought me a level of stability I never was used to, and I am incredibly grateful. My new problems, I wouldn't call problems, home maintenance, car upkeep, bills, etc. I am grateful those are my main worries these days. I think this is the best response. Many Americans live paycheck by paycheck for most of their lives. When you can finally not feel like you have to check your bank account before buying something or even after rent has been taken out, is an amazing feeling. But definitely comes with more bills and responsibilities. Good for you though. Money allows me to not worry. It doesn't make me happy, but it frees up my mind to be happy, because I don't have to spend time worrying about how I'm going to pay the next bill. Lifestyle creep is a very real thing, if you're looking for a problem. We've gotten used to this level of money, so if it were to go away, it would be a pretty big problem pretty quickly. Our bills have risen along with our income. Holy shit, man. You are absolutely correct. Doubled my salary, now it feels like I have no money, sad face. LMAO same, tripled my salary in the past 6 years, and then I go on my CC statement every week and wonder how TF $500 more in expenses showed up. I can now buy good gifts for my friends, family. Downside, now I can't get them shitty gifts. Second downside, other people have trouble buying you gifts because you already have almost everything you need. Except love. I answered this a long time ago with a similar question, and recently I've had to address this with friends who aren't nearly as well off. If you are in this situation where they have money and everything they want, something that money can't buy is the way to go. Homemade cookies are fantastic. Homemade chocolates are harder, but also fantastic. If you gave me home-baked cookies, I will not care one bit if I receive the same gift as every other one of your friends. I will think you are an A+ gift giver. Not rich currently, but due to my work skills I have been both flush with cash and scraping by. This position changes every so often. When I had excess, fuck it level of money, my immediate needs were taken care of so I could focus on other things, take on new projects. People don't realize that when you don't have to worry about food for the next months, basic household bills for the next months, fuel for the car. You are so free to spend your energy on other projects and learn new things. For me, the issue's that having that much disposable income is the temptation to spend it. Lifestyle creep and keeping up with the Jones will destroy people if the cash flow ever gets interrupted. Without that cash flow you can't afford your mortgage or your new car. I avoided it, luckily. Many others have not. I bought a small house and a nice 15-year-old truck when I had the money, and then I stopped. I put my money in the bank, invested it. My monthly stay alive cost is under $1,000. When the good times end, I still keep the lights on working a low-paying job. I spent some time where I did have to worry about food for next week and whether there would be money for gas for the car. If so, how far will $5 of gas get me? I hope nothing breaks. I always had a safety net that I could go ask my parents for help, so I was never desperately poor, but on my own I was down to accounting for each individual dollar and what was the cheapest food at the market. Relatively, not having that level of worry makes me feel rich. I'll never buy an island or go to a black tie charity event. I'll never be rich at that level. But I have strong incentive and good memory to save plenty of money, so I never fall back to the worry about food for next week level. Grew of middle class, until 12 years old, then mom had a stroke and parents lost family business and was essentially piss poor broke. I think parents sheltered my brothers and I from it a lot. Always had something to eat but always moving around different homes. Xmas presents consisted of socks, underwear and candy bars. It sucked during high school. I was jealous. Went to college, got a job, and so did my brothers. My brothers started doing well and started supporting our parents. I ended up going to med school. Getting through residency. Still paying off massive loans, but now in a place where I don't have to worry about my car breaking down. I can go to Whole Foods, I can buy friends and family dinner without thinking about it. I can pay for my parents' dental work without thinking too much about it. I can invest in stocks, invest in a good home, maintain the home and my cars, and even make money on my house by investing correctly. The biggest difference is that now I can make financial decisions that on their own make money for me, with real estate and with investing. And the ratio of this easy capital gains money only gets better every year. When you are poor you own nothing and the only way of making money is to work, but if your paycheck can't support your lifestyle it is very difficult to break cycle. Greater than I can pay for my parents' dental work without thinking too much about it. I love reading this. Not rich by 1% standards, never been poor. I always had a support system, even if I had no money myself. That being said, the number one thing I noticed is holidays aren't as stressful, because money isn't an issue. Shopping for presents is relatively easy, because I'm limited by creativity, not weighing how ashamed am I going to be to give this crappy gift to someone versus how much do I want to eat this week. The main problems come from being in that place where enough is never enough. As long as I watch my spending, I can mostly buy the occasional thing I want, but I don't have enough that I can buy whatever. It's also a dilemma when it comes to helping out my friends. I don't have enough that I can afford to solve or really significantly impact my friends' financial problems, while at the same time I want to be generous, helpful when I can. On the gripping hand, it becomes easy to be taken for granted or even worse, taken advantage of. Springing for the occasional meal can easily become being expected to pay for restaurants that are more expensive than I want to be going to in the first place. You want to nip that shit in the bud real quick. But I have a lot of friends who are literally looking through couch cushions for gas money. At the same time, if I gave them gas money all the time, I wouldn't be able to pay my own bills. So it sucks to sit there and have to figure out when I can actually help versus when I'm lighting myself on fire to keep someone else warm. Went from extremely lower middle class where I didn't carry insurance because I couldn't afford it, and could never pay all my bill in any given month, to 1%. The biggest difference is bar none the loss of that fear and shame. My wife is an incredibly empathetic, sympathetic person, but she came from money and doesn't understand the feeling. The stress, shame, and sleeplessness that comes from not having money just can't be explained unless you've lived them. Not having that feeling, just knowing I can buy what I want within reason, don't confuse the 1% with the 0.01%, is one of the greatest changes in my life. Having come from almost nothing to where I'm at now, there are no problems. The problems I face now are totally first world problems, because money. I went from a similar background, maybe a bit less precarious than you, but got free school lunches. Now I'm doing pretty okay and I'm honestly more freaked out. I'm not 1%, but I'm certainly up there for my age. I'm afraid of what if I lose my job? I can afford what I have easily now, but what if I lose my job and need to work at 7-Eleven? How will I pay my rent when my emergency fund runs out? Kinda the opposite here, was fairly wealthy living in a large single-family home, now living in a 250 SQFT trailer. The biggest thing is probably not having the time to be able to enjoy ourselves. Working 7 days a week just to make ends meet isn't fun. Before, we could go anywhere on a whim and not have to worry about missing out on the money. One thing I can say for sure though is I will never take normal things for granted ever again. How I miss having a dishwasher and a clothes washer and counter space. I miss having an oven big enough for a tray of cookies. I miss having more than one bathroom in the house. If I were to ever have these things again, I'd never ever look at them how I did before. I'd be eternally more grateful than I ever had been. I am not super rich, but definitely doing okay, and really there aren't downsides. Maybe a bit of guilt that I have some extended family members who are always living paycheck to paycheck, but they are just bad with money and would spend it like NBA players if I helped them. IMHO, they all smoke like chimneys and drink like fish. The ones that have a bit more in their paychecks have big trucks, SUVs, etc. I do contribute to college funds for their kids. Sometimes I feel a bit out of touch. I had an AC unit blow 2 years ago, it was a few grand. I had a friend over and just mentioned it, and she was like, oh man, that must have been a big setback, and I just kind of shrugged it off, not really. I knew it was struggling for a good year and a half. I was happy to get as much time out of it as I did, and the newer one was much quieter. I immediately regretted saying that as she looked at me like I was crazy. We lived way below our means for many years. We had a smallish condo that worked well enough for us, but we finally found our forever home this fall, which is much larger and nicer, and kind of shocked some people. We didn't tell people what we paid, but still kind of outed ourselves a bit, so we will see how that changes people's perceptions. It's a much bigger nut to take on. We will be okay, but things could get stressful if I lose my job or befall some other catastrophic thing in the next 6 months to a year. Can't say I'm rich, but for my age, 22, I'm wealthy. I always had to think a lot before buying anything. Having money makes it much easier. I don't have to say no to my friends when they invite me for something because I don't have the money, always so embarrassing. Still, I'm always afraid I lose it again and I end up being poor again. It's a constant anxiety. Wealth is where your money works for you and generates more without you doing very much. Rich is something you can blow in a weekend of bad decisions. The prophet Chris Rock taught me this. The biggest thing is that you no longer have to worry about things. $2,000 car repair? No big deal, put it on your credit card to save 2% with cash back in the bill as auto-paid in full on the due date anyways. Your life is much less stressful when these things randomly pop up, and you don't have to worry about where you'll get the money to cover them. The problem I've been thinking about lately is why I want to keep increasing my salary. I'm on the fence about getting an MBA so that I can move into a senior-level management position, CTO, CEO. It's not like I need more money, we already live on less than 30% of my salary, so why do I need to earn $800K, $1M or even like a $20M salary? It seems so wasteful. I like my $250,000 house just fine. I like my current vehicle and motorcycle. What else do I possibly need? But yet I feel like everyone around me is like, why? So yeah, I'd say that. I feel like I'm supposed to want to move into those positions, and when I ask people why I should want to move into that position, the answer is always, because you'll earn way more money. And it's like, I earn $180 $230K per year right now, and we live on less than $70,000 per year. So why in the world would I need even more? I could retire on my current path at 43 years of age with over $4 million. Why do I need more money than that? I'm not rich, but I went from making restaurant wages to having a salary job with the state with benefits. Last night I was at Target buying towels and was getting my usual $10 towels. I was putting them in the basket when I stopped and realized I didn't have to get those anymore. Walked another aisle over and got much nicer towels because I could afford it. You don't have to be rich to enjoy some better things when you were dirt poor for nearly a decade. As far as downsides? I'm still not rich, so I can't splurge that often on other things. I grew up without much money and was the first in my family to go to college. After college I kept on going education-wise and now have a job that lands me in the top 1% of earners. First the good, grocery shopping without that sinking feeling of having to put something back because I miscalculated, no more clipping coupons, nicer stuff, clothes, car, house, electronics, able to set all credit cards to automatically pay in full every month, nicer hotels and vacations, unique experiences, access to politicians, musicians, VIP areas etc. Able to donate big sums of money to causes I care about, no more stressing about bills. They all get paid in full automatically. I can hire people to do the many of the things that used to take up my free time: laundry, house cleaning, errands etc. I can take care of my family and friends when needed. The US system is designed by the rich to help them maintain and grow wealth. My stock holdings have made $600 so far while typing this. Now the bad, I try to be discreet because once people find out I have money they try to separate me from it. Whether it's in the form of fees, inflated quotes was quoted $2K to clean my tile floors once, or requests for loans, gifts or investments, everyone wants a piece. I have to worry about what my money is doing. Once my checks started coming in, I had dollars sitting in my checking account for months at a time. Now I have to move it around to make it grow: 401k, brokerage accounts, real estate syndication etc. Similarly, any new friends not in my income bracket are suspect. It sucks, but I have to consider people's motives. I have to make sure my kids aren't entitled little brats and don't grow up to be entitled, awful adults. I don't know, I'm rich, but I make around $250,000 a year and my financee makes an additional $110 to $120K a year. We are both 32. I grew up poor as shit. Father worked in flea market. Honestly, money solves everything and causes no new problems. I see people say that people will use you for your money, friendships aren't real, you'll attract gold diggers, etc. But honestly, this is just a way for poor people to feel better. My rich friends are 100x more loyal, reliable, better people than my poor friends growing up. The people I attracted while dating were 100x nicer, more authentic, prettier than when I was poor. I live in a safe neighborhood in a luxury building, can pay people to do everything I hate, e.g., cooking, no financial stress, travel all the time. My job, although sometimes stressful, is super interesting and impactful. I can retire young. Money solves pretty much every problem out there. Like 99% of the problems. The downside, I can't attend family events anymore because everyone fucking wants something from me. My cousins, uncles, aunts, all are pretty much a waste of DNA. Never really worked anywhere. I have no idea how they survive. And I don't wanna know. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Reddit stories like this.